Hello everybody and welcome back to Imperator, where we are currently working on dropping our aggressive expansion. We've also got this rebellion going on in Garrhan, which is absolutely going to be dealt with very soon. No real issue there. Do we have any colonizable provinces? No, we do not. Okay, well, let's check in on our city situation here. Okay, we've got a couple of cities where we can fill out some building slots. So Apamea Arantu would be next. That is right down over here. Okay, so this is a slave location. We would definitely put in a pair of forums. And we just won this siege. So that's perfect. We're going to head on to Mazar. That actually went quite quickly. Cool. We're very happy about that, of course. And these mercs are going to head right on up over here. This siege will be a very, very simple one. And hopefully that siege will go quite quickly as well. I believe that they still have some army around here somewhere. Perhaps here, perhaps up this way. Hard to say exactly. Ah, there they are. Okay, looks like Garrhan is after them. I'm just going to leave our unit sieging. And this should be fine. These guys are trapped in here. There's not very much that they can do unless they have access down this way, but I'd be a little surprised about that. So next up would be Nuarsak. Where are you? Up over here? Okay, sure. So this is definitely a slave location. A couple of forums here look good. And then we've got Oran Texada up here. Noted. Okay, so this has a fort in it. Do we need a fort here? I guess it's okay, but we've got one in Ani. So I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to put in a pair of freeman districts and a slave trader for now. Actually, I'm going to take out those freeman districts. We're going to do 2 taverns instead. Looks good. Okay, so we need a governor out over this direction. We had a scorned family. Probably should have made that be a Davidite, but that's okay. So we're at 7% on this siege. That is progressing nicely. These guys are heading up this direction, probably to Gonabad or Darium. One of those, most likely. Okay, so next would be Cretopolis. What is this? Sure. And this is, of course, spelled like this. There we go. So out over here, we would put in what? Oh, this is all over the place. Okay, so what do we got going on here? This is producing hemp, so I don't think having this be research is in any way useful. I do think that a farmer's market here makes some sense. I don't think we need the aqueduct at this time. Or the commercial district. So let's put in foundries, let's put in mills, let's put in slave traders, and a tavern. Something like that. Okay, cool. Buban would be next. Actually, Kessie. Sure. And what do we need here? Well, the answer is that we would need a pair of tax offices. I think the Grand Theater is still useful here, so we'll leave that be for the time being. Next up would be Buban, which is up over here. This is also kind of all over the place. It produces cedar, so let's do something like this. This is actually not that all over the place. It mostly just needs more building slots to actually have the things that it has here. I'm wondering, I think we get rid of the fort here, and we put in an extra slave trader. And we get rid of the granaries. We could put in a farmer's market, but I think we're fine on food for the time being, so let's put in 2 taverns, and we'll call that good for now. The Grand Temple is useful, right? Yes, it is. Okay, so we need a new governor, and this should be a Davidite governor. Okay, so do we have one? Yes, this guy. That'll do. More evangelism in our lands. Very bold of them indeed. And we can check in to see what they've got going on here. There's this up over here. Very rude. That's in a settlement, so I'm not too concerned about it. Mostly we've got it pretty under control. Is this within our territory? No. Okay. So that's fine. Mostly within our territory, we've got it under control. Is this fort siege completed? Wow, 64%. So no, it's not done yet. That's remarkable. So we could definitely continue to do some constructions here. Noamon? Okay, so that is down here. Gotcha. So we would look to put in a pair of tax offices, for sure. And then what else do we have? Oh, this guy died. Okay, sure. So we've got Aladag Calais. And we won the siege of Mazar. Okay. So where is this? Out here? Sure. Okay, so we would put in a forum. We would put in a tavern, for sure. Then back out over this direction. This should all be auto-capping. These guys are heading up this way, though. And we're going to want to flip this. So I want to transfer this to Garrha. We can't control this. So we're going to flip this to Garrha as well. And hopefully the auto-cap will now be flipped. Nope. That's unfortunate. So we're going to have to manually go through and flip every single one of these very tediously. That is sad. Now this is going. Okay. So I guess it was when it created the auto cap that it determined who it was flipping it to. That's unfortunate, for sure. This is still occupied by us. This didn't go. Okay, there we go. So that should be fine. And then we've got this up over here, which is controlled by us. This should be Garrha. And then this should be Garrha as well. This should be Garrha, but I don't know that we can change that right now. We're going to have to wait for these guys to cease to exist. And this did go to us. Weird. Okay, so all of this needs to get flipped over like so. Okay. So now we sue for peace, and all of this goes to Garrha. Perfect. So now, of course, we're going to disband these guys. There we go. And we can go back to building some of these city buildings. So Katarif is next. That is not how that's spelled. Katarif is down over this direction. Okay, so a pair of tax offices here is absolutely fine. Siracine wants military access. Why? No thank you. Kandala would be the next target, which would be out over here. Wonderful. So this is definitely a slave city as well. This would need a pair of tax offices. Getting started on that. Our income is becoming truly absurd. But Dur is the next location, and that would be right out over here. This is the final 2 slaughter, so that's fine. This is a research area? Kind of. I mean, we've got all these commercial districts, right? The intention here, of course, is to boost our pop assimilation speed here. So the question is, how's that going? I mean, it's only 1.6%. A huge reduction to that is the dominant religion not being the state religion. So, I mean, this is going up by 6.07, which is pretty fast, to be sure. We could theoretically build... We can't build shrines because this is not a holy site. Okay. We could theoretically build libraries here for conversion speed, but I think I'm just going to say our conversion speed is fast enough. We're going to build more commercial districts. Now, if we wanted to come down here, we've got 7 pops, and we need at least 4 of these to be Hebrew, right? So I see 2 Israelite Hebrew pops here, but I only see the 2. So for right now, we can't really do anything from this state. What about here? 2 Israelite Hebrew pops here. We don't really care about the religion. It's the culture that matters here. So that is definitely continuing to be a concern. Okay. Well, we'll get this all colonized eventually, but not right now. Oh, this territory is uncolonized now. That's interesting. I wonder why that is. Okay. What about up over here? Can we move any Israelite Hebrew pops up here? So it needs to be majority Hebrew, right? And that would mean that we would need to move a bunch of pops here. But I'm just wondering, how many Hebrew pops do we even have here? The answer is, I don't see any Hebrew slave pops. Okay. So that's fine. We're eventually going to want these to be converted over. We can put in a commercial district here now to work on that. And this here, there's nothing to be built. This here, there is something to be built here. We could put in a commercial district. That'll be fine. Okay, so we'd love to get this situation solved, right? No doubt about that, but we need to have a bunch of cultural assimilation out over here before that's... So that's going to take a while, for sure. The main issue right now is that the exact pop that we're trying to convert is not our religion, but also dominant culture and dominant religion not being our religion and culture is slowing this down significantly. Extremely significantly. Now we are working on that. We're making some progress. And when are we going to get our next tech? We're fairly close. That's going to be assemblies. Okay. So formulaic worship is what we really want here. We're not going to get that until like this civic advance, which is currently looking to be about 5 years out. Okay, noted. So looking at these missions here, there's not that much more that we can do right now, right? We need Esther's legacy, so we have to own this Garrhan territory. We're working on that, but we're a long ways out from that. That's going to be done in 1060. We're like 200 years away from that. That's an absurd amount of time, by the way. Surely there's a way that we could improve that. Our diplomatic reputation is giving us plus 0.15. What is our current diplomatic reputation? How can we increase our current diplomatic reputation? That's an interesting question. And where do we even see that? Is that under our government? I would think that would be under like a diplomacy tab or something. Let's see. It's going to be in here somewhere. Okay, we would need somebody here, and it would be like this guy. So this is currently giving us civilization change, aggressive expansion change, omen power, legitimacy, national tax, health, military experience, mercenary army maintenance. Yeah, so none of these offices are affecting our integration speed. So that's noted. I'm wondering, is there technologies that we could do? Integration. Let's just see here. So we've got gradual economic integration, but that's not actually what we're looking at, or what we're looking for, rather. Aggressive expansion change, I mean, there's that. Aggressive expansion is not modifying our integration rate. Of course, we have no war exhaustion, and we have no tyranny at this moment. So none of this is changing our integration rate. Our integration rate, if we check here, is based on the fact that we have 0.25 from base, 0.25 from being a great power, and 0.15 from having diplomatic reputation. So where is our diplomatic reputation? If we go into our diplomacy, it might be in here somewhere. Our details. So that's our aggressive expansion impact. Okay, so our current diplomatic reputation is +3. One of those comes from surplus of honey in capital. One comes from humane conduct, and one comes from diplomatic immunity. So if we go into here and we check for diplomatic reputation, well, actually, it might be this out over here. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. So we want diplomatic reputation, which we can see we have diplomatic immunity here. But we need open negotiations, we need noble envoys, career negotiators, Polybius Square. So this is +3 diplomatic reputation. That's noted. And this is +3 as well. Okay, is there diplomatic reputation in any other tree? I'd be a little surprised. No. So it's only in the oratory tree. So we definitely have some interesting things that we can do here. We have some diplomatic reputation that we can grab quite quickly. But the main issue is we also want formulaic worship. So the question is a question of priorities. That's what this comes down to. So we've got Uatisos here that we could definitely do an upgrade in. For now, there's nothing that we can do in either direction there, but that diplomatic reputation will be a significant boon to us because we can see here that we're getting 0.05 each. right? So in theory, I'm also wondering, do any of these give us diplomatic reputation? No. So we're going to call down Esther again. That's fine. But if we look in at oratory advances here, right? So this is going to be 3 diplomatic reputation. This is going to be a total of 4, and then 5, 6, 7, and 10 diplomatic reputation. So that's a lot of diplomatic reputation that's on the table right now. 10 over here. So that means that that's going to be worth an additional 0.5. So that is going to nearly double our integration speed. Now that's still going to take like 100 years. But that's a whole lot better than 200. No doubt about that. So that's definitely something that we want to work towards. I still want to grab the formulaic worship next, I think, and then we'll pivot after that. So let's put in a pair of tax offices here, and we would go to Zagru Pili next. Excellent. So that would be a forum and then a Freeman district there. Now, the next technology that we're going to get is oratory, and we will have that in about a year. Basically, straight up 1 year. Okay, sounds good. Unrivaled wealth? Yeah, this is fine. He can have the gold. We really don't need more gold. That's interesting. We're supposed to be gaining 700. I think we just gained 200. Does it reduce it as we approach a cap? And honestly, this is worth it. This is 16,466.61 gold. Do it. We love ways to spend our money. It'll reduce our taxes from Jerusalem, but we don't really generate taxes from Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a research city. We actually can build additional library here. We should put in an aqueduct, actually. So that'll be fine. That'll boost up our population capacity. Looks good. I've been wondering if we can go above 100,000. I haven't noticed us above 100,000 gold. So I'll keep an eye on that. But for now, this is fine. So Phasis is the next location, which would be right up over here. Okay, this is kind of all over the place. Let's get rid of the port. Let's get rid of the commercial district. Get rid of the noble district. This produces cloth. Yeah, I think it's fine to make this be slave. We've already got a mill here. Let's put in 3 mills, or rather, we've got a foundry. Let's get rid of the library, put in 3 mills. We would then put in 2 slave traders and a tavern for now. Cool. That looks good. Next up would be Colossi. So that is out over here. Noted. So here we would definitely want to put in a pair of slave traders. That'll be fine. The Roman Civil War has ended. Okay. I mean, we're not very threatened by Rome, so this is fine. And now we're into these single building slot cities. Honestly, I think we'll just wait on some of these. We'll probably want to go through them eventually, but for right now, I don't think there's a huge amount of need to. So that looks good. Looking at our technology here, we're going to get this technology in about... Okay, so we could just immediately take Polybius Square. That's definitely something that we could do. And that would immediately get us +3 diplomatic reputation. That's a pretty big deal. We do need a Davidite governor, and let's see what we've got here. Anybody? No. We don't have a Davidite available. Okay. So that'll have to do for now. And we've now got Darwin. Okay. So this is recruiting somebody to our family. That'll be fine. And that solves the problem. Okay, so Darwin is right up over here. Looks good. And let's go ahead and put in... Oh, this is a little awkward here. Let's put in a pair of slave traders. This aqueduct is not currently necessary, so let's switch that over to a slave trader as well. Another Davidite just died. Okay. And I think that there's not anybody that we can put in here from the Davidite family, so we'll just put in this guy for now. That'll do. Okay. So checking in down over this way. We should be making some amount of progress on our assimilation and conversion here. We're currently working on assimilating a citizen. Now, citizens are not all that useful for us, for sure. We've got this city here, which is kind of not doing anything. I'm going to put in a great temple here. And I would also like to remove this tavern for the moment and put in a grand theater. So we're going to do something like that. There's that oratory advance, and we can continue to move towards formulaic worship, which I think is a very useful thing to do. I think we're going to go for the diplomatic reputation after we get formulaic worship. So we're now one additional away, and we're going to get both the martial and the civic advance at very similar times. So 872 of January and 873 of June. So they're going to be a little bit apart, for sure. Do we have a better researcher? Not really. Okay. So that's reasonably fine. I'm just looking at the research speed here. This guy's not very good at the job, but we don't have anyone who's better. So he'll have to do for the moment. Seems reasonably fine. So this is going to be 893, and then this is going to be 889. Okay. Seems fine. The civic advance is definitely going to be the next one to be completed, but it's going to take a little while to get to formulaic worship. No doubt about that. And then we're going to absolutely want to start grabbing things like Polybius Square will be the first thing that we take. Then we'll probably take open negotiations. I'm just thinking about how to best get down to provincial census. But, okay, this only needs one of. Okay. So the best way to get down to provincial census then, or we could even go like steganography, hierarchy of responsibility, and then proprietors and proconsuls. That's a theoretical option, or we could go coding for a network provincial census approved familia like this. Open negotiations is just slightly awkwardly placed. If these two were in different positions, this would be definitely the way to beeline. But it's not. So that makes things interesting, for sure. Okay, so we need a new rope, and this should be a Davidite if there is one. Although I'd be a little surprised at this point. Yeah, there's not one. So we'll put this guy in. Okay. No colonizable provinces at this moment is deeply, deeply unsurprising. But checking in on this progress here, we can see that this is now at 7.03. That's not bad. And it's going to be much, much higher. So the dominant religion not being the state religion is still problematic. We are 60% Israelite at this point. But we're going to need to bring this up. Quite a lot, in fact. So that's all fine for the moment. We can just leave that be. It's okay. We now have, oh wow, a bunch of these to work on. So Termessos would be the next location, which is somewhere over here. There it is. Cool. We don't need this fort, and I would definitely want to put in a tavern. And then we would put in a forum. Something like that. Okay. That felt like that was only 2 buildings that we put in, but I guess that's correct. So Tyriaon would be next, which is right up over here. Wonderful. And this is, of course, going to be a pair of tax offices. No problem there. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue to work on various things here. We'd like to drop our aggressive expansion. We'd like to colonize this down over here, as well as this up over here. What do we want here? Actually, stability and losing some tyranny is fine. And we got a minor addendum as well. Okay, so our stability is now like 70. That's absurd. And these slaves can become freemen. That's fine. They'll probably get switched back eventually. So that is absolutely fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.